Hi, I'm Alexis Seavey.
And I'm Justina Urso, and we are both 7th grade members of the HMS Student Council.
We are continuing with our March Madness Women's History Month battle, and we hope that you've been enjoying our presentations of great women in history so far.
And round 1 continues today. We are excited to have with us 3 additional awesome women representing the Komodo Dragons 7th grade team, Mrs. McClone, Mrs. Gavio, and Mrs. Gannon. Welcome, ladies.
Hi.
Hi.
Today we'll be presenting you with the stories of 2 interesting women. Once we present the stories, it'll be up to you to determine who should move on to the second round. With what criteria, that's completely up to you. Justina, why don't you get the ball rolling by telling our panelists a little bit more about Katherine Johnson.
Okay, so Katherine Johnson was a very impressive woman. She was born on August 26, 1918. She was one of the first African-American women to work for NASA. She started attending high school at the age of 13, and not long after, she started attending college. She was a math genius. She graduated college with the highest honors in 1937, and she took a job teaching at a Black public school in Virginia. Her and 2 other men were selected to be the first Black students offered spots at the state's flagship school, West Virginia University. So she left her teaching job and she enrolled in a graduate math program. In 1962, as NASA prepared for Apollo 11, she was called upon to do work, and this is the work that she's most famous for. She helped with the orbital mission, and it ended up being a success. She passed away on February 24th, 2020, and her friends at NASA say that she was an American hero and her pioneering legacy will never be forgotten. Okay, ladies, what do you think about her story?
Awesome mathematician.
Yeah, she's one of my favorite people. In that, I think she was even in the Hidden Figures movie, her character. So she worked on even more than Apollo. She worked on the early space missions and helped. I think John Glenn didn't want to go up into space until she had calculated the trajectory for his mission. So she really was a go-to person for the whole space program.
I was just going to ask if she was that character in Hidden Figures or somebody was modeled off of her. So that's really interesting. And yeah, she sounds amazing. I didn't recognize her name, so thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, thanks, Deb.
Okay, your turn, Alexis. Who's next?
It takes courage to become a female coach in a male-dominated sport. Jen Welter went right up to the challenge, becoming the first female NFL coach. Jennifer was born on October 27, 1977 in Florida. She attended Boston College and was a rugby player and a professional player in the Women's Football Alliance. She dedicated herself to learning the skills of knowledge of the football field. She was the running back for the Dallas Revolution in the Arena Football League, becoming the first woman to hold a non-kicking position. In the summer of 2015, she became the first woman to be hired by the NFL as a coach. She was a great athlete. She read plays really fast, studied a lot of films, and the male athletes respected her knowledge. Jennifer was interviewed about her coaching position since it was not a common sight to see a woman on the field. She said, "To me, a dream is something that you lay awake at night and thought, I am going to be an NFL coach. I never had that dream because there was no one to look out for that dream. It wasn't like I could look on the sidelines and see a woman out there. And yet now it is something that every little girl can put on her list of possibilities." So that's 2 impressive women in vastly different fields. Teachers, what do you think?
Wow. 2 of my favorite things, math and sports. I don't know if I'm going to be able to decide. This is wild.
That's unbelievable. I've never heard of the football coach.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Was Lexi, wasn't this her first season, the past season that just happened, or am I wrong?
I think so. I could be wrong though.
Yeah.
What an amazing season to be your first, right?
Mm-hmm. And I'm coming from a position where when I was growing up, there were no sports for women in the neighborhood. You know, like Havertown has all these leagues and softball and lacrosse and soccer. There was nothing for girls growing up. I used to go and watch my brothers play baseball and football in little league type teams, but there was nothing. And I always usually felt like I was very uncoordinated because I never had the experience of being in sports like that. And I think when you have the experience, the opportunity to do that, I think it gives you self-confidence. And I'm happy that kids nowadays have that ability, and that now it's going up to even participating in men-dominated routines and activities,
Mhm.
Yeah, that's amazing. Unbelievable. That's an awesome story, Deb.
Yeah. Yeah, I really admire both of these women for they had very different types of lives, but I think both their lives should be so well respected. And I really commend both of them and thank both of them for everything they've done.
Right, I agree. Now you're making us pick, you guys. This isn't fair.
I know, seriously. I think it's interesting to think about the fact that now girls wouldn't even hopefully give it a second thought that they could be a scientist.
Right.
And I think it's really cool, especially for young girls today, to even have on the table to be an NFL coach. Like, even when I was in high school deciding what I was going to be, that thought would never have even crossed my mind as even an option. So I think it's really cool to think that in just such a short amount of time, the strides that have been made in opening up literally any career opportunity for any person, which is really awesome.
Yeah.
True. Yeah, you do see a lot
I think
more
she has
women.
my vote.
You what? What's your vote?
I said I think she has my vote. Football coach.
Oh, really? I was going to go with Katherine.
Yeah.
Why? Well, Deb, I know you probably love her.
Well,
Right.
I'm also thinking, they're going to put a woman on the moon now too, which never happened before, so.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess if I had to pick, I would go with Katherine's contributions. I feel bad because, both of them did amazing things. That was an earlier time. The world was even more different than it is now. So that was probably even more of a struggle for her. And again, the math, I love the math. So
Yeah.
that's my vote. Do we have to be unanimous or no?
Is that why we're 2 out of 3 maybe?
Okay. No, I think we don't. Okay, good. We don't have to be.
I was
Ms. Langan says no. Yeah, but Mrs. Gannon, you made a good point. It was probably even more of a struggle for her to get where she was to achieve her goals, because she was dealing with a much different climate.
Right. Right.
Yeah, and it wasn't just being a woman, it was being an African American woman also at the time.
Sure.
So.
That's true. Yeah.
Right. Right. Girls, how
Right.
did you come up with the people that you picked? Did you hear of them on the news or anything, or what? Lexi and Justina, how did you pick them?
I've watched football with my family a lot, and I've always wondered who was the first woman to be there.
Okay.
It's such there's so much male players and coaches out there.
Right.
So I've always
Right.
wondered.
I think. No, go ahead.
I just looked up important women, and I'd never heard of her, so I thought it was important.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. I think you convinced me. Really tough though. They're both awesome.
It is. It's
Mhm.
everybody has their own talents, their own contribution to history, and both women are to be commended.
Mhm.
For sure. All right. I guess we made our choice.
Okay.
So that means that Katherine Johnson will be moving on to the semifinals. Will she make it all the way to the championship? We shall see.
so much for our panelists for joining us. We hope you had as much fun as we did.
Thank you. It was fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thanks to all of you for joining us. Keep tuning in as we continue to celebrate Women's History Month.